The refugee who became a scientist. In the heart of a bustling city, where hopes and dreams spun together like threads in a tapestry, a young boy named Amir stepped off a crowded bus, clutching his mother's hand tightly. The city was unfamiliar, its skyline jagged and foreign, its language a cacophony of syllables that seemed impossible to untangle. Amir was only 10 years old, and though his eyes flickered with wonder, they also held the shadows of all he had left behind. His family had arrived with little more than a battered suitcase and the silent promise that, somehow, life would be better here. They were refugees, having fled a country torn apart by war. Amir's father, once an engineer, now worked long hours washing dishes in a small restaurant, while his mother stitched clothes late into the night. Each day was a question mark, each night a silent prayer for belonging. School was a world unto itself. The children in Amir's class spoke quickly, their words darting around him like elusive fireflies. He struggled to keep up, his tongue tripping over unfamiliar phrases. When he raised his hand, his accent drew stares and smirks. But Amir was determined. He spent hours in the library, surrounded by towers of books, teaching himself English one story at a time. He read about distant galaxies, hummingbirds in flight, and the secret lives of atoms. Science, he discovered, was a language all its own, a code he could learn, a truth he could hold. One rainy afternoon, as Amir pored over a book about the stars, his teacher, Mrs. Reynolds, noticed the gleam in his eyes. She knelt beside him and asked, "What do you see when you look at the sky?" Amir hesitated, then replied in halting English, "I see possibility." Mrs. Reynolds smiled, sensing a spark that needed only a little nurturing. With her encouragement, Amir joined the school's science club. The first project was a simple volcano made of baking soda and vinegar, but Amir's mind soared far beyond the fizz and foam. He wanted to know why things reacted, how they transformed, and what hidden rules governed the universe. He spent evenings experimenting in the cramped apartment kitchen, turning everyday objects into miracles of curiosity. His mother watched, worried that he might never fit in, but Amir reassured her with a quiet certainty, "If I can understand how things work, I can find my place." As the years passed, Amir's English grew fluent, his confidence blossomed, and his reputation as a budding scientist spread. Yet, even as he collected certificates and medals, he never forgot the ache of loneliness, the sting of feeling different. He made it his mission to help other newcomers feel welcome, tutoring classmates who struggled with language, sharing his lunch with those who had none. For Amir, science was not just a path to knowledge, it was a bridge to understanding, a way to connect hearts and minds. High school brought new challenges. Advanced classes were rigorous, and the pressure to succeed weighed heavily. There were moments when Amir considered giving up, when the burden of expectations seemed too much to bear. But he remembered his father's words, "We did not cross oceans and borders so you could stop at the first obstacle. Our journey is not only for us, but for those who come after." Inspired, Amir pushed forward, seeking out mentors who believed in his potential. One day, a flyer for a city-wide science fair caught his eye. The theme was, "Innovation for a Better World." Amir's mind raced with ideas. He thought of the refugee camps he'd left behind, the children who lacked clean water and basic necessities. Determined to make a difference, he designed a portable water purification system using affordable, locally available materials. He spent weeks perfecting his prototype, testing and refining, driven by the memory of his younger sister who had fallen ill from contaminated water. The day of the science fair arrived, and Amir stood nervously beside his project, surrounded by polished displays and confident presenters. Judges made their rounds, pausing to ask questions. Amir explained his invention, his words imbued with passion and purpose. When he finished, there was a moment of silence, then a round of applause. Later that evening, as winners were announced, Amir's name echoed through the auditorium. He had not only won first prize but had also captured the attention of a local university professor who offered him a summer internship in her lab. The internship was a revelation. For the first time, Amir worked alongside scientists from around the world, each with a unique story, each driven by a desire to solve real-world problems. He learned that science was not the pursuit of a single truth, but a chorus of voices, each contributing a note to the symphony of discovery. He saw how his own experiences, as a refugee, as an outsider, gave him a perspective that others lacked. He asked questions others had not thought to ask. He saw solutions hidden in plain sight. When Amir graduated high school, he became the first in his family to attend college. He chose to study environmental engineering, determined to find ways to help communities like the one he had come from. College was challenging, but Amir thrived. He published research papers, presented at conferences, and never stopped dreaming of a world where everyone had access to clean water and safe shelter. Years later, Amir stood on a stage, his name projected on a screen behind him. He was being honored for developing a cost-effective water filtration system now used in refugee camps around the globe. As he looked out at the audience, he saw faces of every color, heard accents from every corner of the world. He realized that his journey had not only been about survival, but about transformation, of himself, of others, and, in some small way, of the world. Amir's story is a testament to the power of resilience, the importance of curiosity, and the enduring truth that where you start does not determine where you can go. His life reminds us that every challenge is an invitation to grow, that every act of kindness can change a life, and that the barriers we face can become the bridges we build. For those who feel lost or different, Amir's journey offers hope. He teaches us that our greatest trials can become our greatest strengths, that our differences are gifts waiting to be shared. In every setback, there is a lesson. In every stranger, a potential friend. In every question, a seed of possibility. The city that once felt overwhelming and alien became, through Amir's eyes, a place of infinite wonder. The stars he studied as a boy were no longer distant. They shone right above him, lighting the way for all who dared to dream. And so, the refugee who became a scientist proved that with courage, compassion, and an unyielding belief in what is possible, we can transform not only our own lives, but also the world around us. Amir's footsteps, echoing through the corridors of laboratories and the halls of learning, remind us that every journey begins with a single step, and that, sometimes, the most extraordinary paths are forged by those who are brave enough to begin again. From the winding roads of his homeland to the wide avenues of a new city, from the uncertainty of exile to the certainty of discovery, Amir's life is a story of hope. It is a reminder that, no matter how dark the night, the dawn always comes, and with it, the promise of a future shaped by our own hands, hearts, and dreams. The lesson that lingers from Amir's journey is one that transcends borders and languages. Never underestimate the power of a curious mind, a compassionate heart, and a spirit that refuses to yield. For in the end, these are the qualities that change the world. One idea, one act, one life at a time. As Amir continues his work, inspiring a new generation of scientists, dreamers, and changemakers, his story lives on as a beacon. It urges us to look beyond barriers, to find common ground, and to remember that greatness is not defined by where we come from, but by what we dare to become.